to the D&D Morning Show. We've got another episode ready to roll.
Come on back at ya.
That's right.
We're excited. We just got back from a long trip.
We did.
Had a beautiful time.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought it'd be cool. Hopefully you can see we're a little bit on the side here. Of side of the camera, because we wanted to show you the downtown of Calgary, which is where I grew up. Not downtown of Calgary, but in this area.
You grew up in Calgary, in this area, with this view in the background.
That's right. So hopefully you can see it. And we're going to hang out to the side.
We're going to be over here. And if you haven't noticed, we switched sides.
Crazy. We're switching things up. Fall's coming, and here we are.
So today, let me talk about what we're talking about today. We have airport frustration fun fact from this guy here. Then I recently have been doing some new research on iron and absorption of iron. So I'm going to share all that with you guys. We have a recipe, another salad recipe coming at you, and we'll end with a quote.
All right, sounds like a great show.
It's going to be a good one. So let's start off, Drew, with your airport frustration.
I don't know what it is.
You don't know what it is?
What you got?
All right. We were at the airport, and usually...
It's got like 1,000 airport frustrations, by the way.
This one is in regards to how you board the plane. On your ticket, it says what zone you are in to board the plane. Luckily, we're usually like the last zone, zone 5. It
almost
just
always
happens. I'm not sure how, but that's our story. They were super excited this time because we're zone 3. We moved up. And we go, okay, zone 1 boards, zone 2 boards, then zone 3 boards. So we pack up our stuff and we head to the line. And it's this gigantic line, and it's just supposed to be zone 3 people.
Like everyone boarding. On the plane.
But everyone in the waiting area decided that they should board, even though it's not their zone. Take it from here, Drew.
Oh. All right, so first of all, everyone, I don't know what's wrong with this. Was worse than usual.
Yeah.
And it's bad to begin with. This was worse than usual. So the last plane that was coming, it hadn't. Everyone hadn't gotten off the plane yet. So they had to ask the whole group of people, everyone that was getting on the new plane, our plane, went and stood in line. And they're standing there, so they had to ask like 3 or 4 or 5 times, like, your plane is not boarding. Can you move out of the way, please?
We need to get people off of the plane, and you're in the way.
and nobody would move. They just stood there waiting. So they just kept asking them, and no one would move. So the people trying to get off the plane were like trying to shuffle through the big line. So that was the first one. That was a bit annoying. And then from there, it was like, we kind of know from the past that a lot of people go and line up when it's not their turn. So I went up and asked, and Dorothy's like, they just called our zone, so let's go up and board. So I went up to see, it was our time to get in line, and there's this huge line. So I said, are you in zone 3? No. Are you in zone 3? No. So I kept going up, and then one lady, she said no, and I said, well, do you mind if I ask what zone you're in? She said, zone 5. She said, I just thought I should get in line. And I was like, and then one of the flight attendants was saying, excuse me, people, we still have 50 people in zone, it was a big plane, 50 people in zone 3 to board. Can you move out of the way?
If you're not in zone 3, go sit down.
And of course, nobody moved. So those of us in zone 3 were like trying to shuffle through the line to get to the front. And anyways, that was a major frustration for me, because it's so simple. Like, everyone's going to get on. You all have a seat. You all have a place to put your bags.
Yeah.
And
I'm not sure where the fear comes from. We're all getting on the plane.
Yeah.
We're all gonna have a spot for our bags.
There's enough room for everyone. You bought your ticket. So anyways, we travel quite a bit, so we can laugh and joke about this. We're not like super like angry at the time.
No.
We're like get upset. We're just like, oh, that happened again. So what's our main topic today?
Main topic is iron. I recently went and got my hair cut, and the lady, she asked me about my hair loss. It was a good friend of ours, and she says cutting my hair, and she asked me, Dorothy, do you always lose this much hair? And I said, yes, more recently I've been having like hairballs, right, come out when I wash my hair or when I brush my hair. And she tells me that's not a good sign. And of course there's a variety of different things it could be, but given her professional experience, she suggested that perhaps I was experiencing some low iron. So then, of course, instead of jumping in and taking an iron supplement or something like that, Drew and I always look to food first. So we've been doing a bunch of research around iron and iron absorption. So Drew, it's kind of interesting because that's one of the reasons, or one of the ways we've designed Complete Truth, is for women and their lack of iron as well.
Yeah, iron consumption is a big one for women. Like women tend to lose iron, especially as they age, to lose iron at a higher rate. So unfortunately, like let's say for example, we're highly active. So when you're running, if you're a runner, for example, you actually pop blood vessels on the bottom of your feet with all that pounding. So we lose blood in that regard. Yeah. We lose blood through our menstrual cycles. So we
not you.
Well, we don't.
I do.
So that's another way we lose iron. So it's important to replace that iron, and because we have a highly plant-based diet, we don't always get those nutrients or that iron supplement or nutrient, mineral from meat, for example.
Meat, yep.
So Dorothy went and did a bunch of research, and we want to do a better job of having enough iron and iron absorption, which is a big one. So Dorothy has some research she wants to share with you.
I went and I researched plant-based foods that are high in iron, and it was kind of not surprising. Maybe what I'm getting at is a lot of the foods we were already consuming. So then I was thinking, well, why could it be possible that I'm still low in iron if I'm still consuming these foods? And then I looked into the absorption of iron. So let me start by talking or sharing with you some of the foods that are plant-based foods that have a good amount of iron in them. So we've got brown rice, we've got lentils, oatmeal, and kind of the carb-ish category, and the fats kind of category, we've got nuts. So pistachios, cashews, pumpkin seeds, we're all high up there for iron.
Pumpkin seeds are a good one, probably the highest amount.
And then veggies, tomatoes was one, and Swiss chard and collard greens. And then a couple of dried fruits, so apricots was one of them for dried fruit, higher in iron. Prunes, so prune juice they suggested on many of the research I was doing. And blackstrap molasses was another one that came up often.
And that has 50%. We're looking at reading some ingredients. That has 50% of your iron
per serving. It had 50% of iron. Right?
Which is a big one, higher. Raisins was another one that was on there.
Raisins.
And blackstrap molasses was one of the highest that we found, so that's something that you might be interested in. And then you mentioned Complete Truth, which I didn't answer.
No.
Quinoa is actually a seed, not a grain, so it's not in the carb category, but it is a slow digesting carb. Hopefully that's not too confusing, but we use quinoa in Complete Truth protein, which is also very high in iron, and it's also a complete protein, which is why we matched up hemp seeds as well, because they also have tons of nutrients, a complete protein as well, so that could help increase your iron levels as well. And
a lot of those things we already consume in our diet. A couple new ones for me was prune juice and the blackstrap molasses, so I'm going to try incorporating some of those into my diet as well. Drew, actually, when we were shopping for some of these things, he was kind of poking fun of me about the prune juice. Hey,
you drink your prune juice, Grandma? I do. I actually remember my grandma like going out of her way to get extra.
Oh, bug. A bug. Sorry. Nature, it happens.
All right. So to get extra, it also has lots of fiber. In there. So, but what I also wanted to mention, the vitamin C aspect.
Yes, the absorption.
Right.
Yeah.
So vitamin C actually helps when you pair them together. Vitamin C helps you absorb iron at a higher rate. So that's why it's important to pair the two. So were you going to mention a smoothie? Am I gonna steal that
No,
from you?
no, I was not.
So a really good smoothie that we enjoy is pumpkin seeds and orange, for example. Orange isn't the highest on the level on the vitamin C scale. If you look at strawberries or peppers that are usually higher, I'm not quite sure why orange stole the vitamin C category.
It did steal the vitamin C.
But if you have orange and pumpkin seeds, for example, or one of your favorite smoothies is you put cacao in there, strawberries, bananas, and then you have your pumpkin seeds.
Yeah.
So your strawberries is high in vitamin C, and then you have your
Cacao,
and I was going to get it pumpkin seeds for iron, and then the absorption rate is much higher because you combine the two.
So exactly, you want to combine an iron-rich food with a calcium-rich food, like Drew was explaining. You want to combine those together.
Did you get calcium?
Did I say calcium?
Said calcium.
An iron-rich food with a vitamin C-rich food. Good thing he's here to catch those things.
Throw some calcium in there too.
We'll save calcium for another day. But so like Drew was exactly what Drew was saying. He kind of he did steal it by combining those foods together.
So you got a recipe for us today.
Of course I do. It's another salad recipe. This is a long name. Apple, feta, pecan, spinach, salad.
Oh my God.
How lovely does that sound?
It sounds delicious, very descriptive.
Yeah, so basically the title is the ingredient list. So you start off with a spinach base for your salad. You can add a bean, like a chickpea for a carb, quinoa, add some oomph in your salad. Substance. And then you're gonna top it off with apples, pecans, and feta. And Drew, do you want to talk about the cheese for a minute?
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on it briefly. Personally, I'm not a big cheese fan. People look at me a bit crazy when I don't love cheese. But sometimes I skip the cheese, and so I don't have cheese. But if you are going to add cheese, this feta is usually a bit cleaner, and it's not colored. So when you're going to look for cheeses, and if you need to add it, like feel free to add it. But find white cheese, please.
Yes.
Stay away from the colored cheeses.
Yeah, so if you want to make it dairy-free, this salad, just get the cheese out of there. But that's how simple it is. The dressing that Drew and I, our kind of go-to dressing, is balsamic and a vinegar. Usually balsamic is a vinegar. It's a balsamic and olive oil. Yep. And we just add some Himalayan salt, some fresh garlic usually, and some pepper.
That's it.
And that's it. So that's how easy it is to toss, and then you toss it all together. Yeah. This is me tossing the salad.
Oh my. That's not really how she tosses the salad. I actually toss the salad.
It's true. I make the salad, Drew dresses the salad. That's how we do it.
All right, so we got a quote to end off with?
We do.
What is it?
The quote is, "Don't wait for it to happen, make it happen."
Ooh.
Yeah.
I love it. It's like fall's coming up depending on when you're watching this video, but I think at any time when you like take that initiative and like make things happen, then we can make things happen in our lives instead of just sitting back and waiting.
It's not gonna come to us. It's not gonna happen for us. We gotta do it. Make it happen.
Woo! All right, guys, thanks for tuning in to another D&D Morning Show. We're gonna leave you with that.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you on the next one.
See you inside.